Hi, I'm Thuan Elston, Operations Editor for the Opinion section of USA Today and a member of its Editorial Board. I'm also a volunteer with the News Literacy Project. Have you ever noticed that many news organizations provide opinions as well as news? Why do they do this? How do they do this? And what can this kind of information help you learn? So you may know, news reporters try to give you information in as fair and neutral a manner as possible. Many news organizations, including USA Today, try to keep opinions out of their news stories. But we also have pieces such as editorials, commentaries, and columns that do include opinions. These two kinds of information, news and opinion, have very different purposes and play distinct roles in our readers' lives. The public relies on our news reports to make decisions, which means that they expect reporting to be unbiased, and they often rely on the expert opinions in our columns and editorials to help them develop their own opinions on topics and issues that are complicated. Blurring the line between news and opinion can damage the reader's trust in the fairness or impartiality of the news reporting. This means that we need to be very careful to keep news and opinion separate. You can see on our website and also in our print edition that we have headings for each so that there's no confusion. What you see here is the home front. That's what we call the home page of USA Today. And on top there, you see the different tabs. There's news, sports, life, and over here, let's click on opinion. And here's the opinion front page. Okay, so let's tackle the next question. How are opinion pieces produced? To answer this, I'd like to focus on one type of opinion journalism, the kind I work on at USA Today, the editorial. First, let's meet some of the people involved in producing the editorials at USA Today. The editor of the editorial page is Brian Gallagher. He's not only been a reporter, he's been a city editor. And then there's George Hager, who's not only covered Washington, he's been one of our Washington bureau editors. Like many other news organizations, we have what's called an editorial board, a group of people on the staff who have considerable knowledge about current events. Just as news and opinion are separate on the pages of a newspaper or website, the people who report the news are kept separate from the editorial board. This helps to ensure that the reporter's news stories remain free of the editorial board's opinions. Here at the top of the page, you see a statement that describes our purpose. I read you a few lines. The board operates by consensus and reaches its opinions independently. The editorial board strives to present an opinion section online and in print that reflects the fullness of the national dialogue, offering commentary from columnists, readers, and its own writers on a wide range of issues from many perspectives. So how do we come up with the topics for the editorials? News happens. Court decisions come down, major championship going on, there's another shooting someplace. The editor of the editorial page assigns it to a certain writer who comes up with a proposal. Then all the editorial board members meet around this table in this room and we debate the proposal. We all speak up, sharing facts, details, perspectives, and opinions about the topic. We challenge one another's perspective and defend our evidence and thoughts as we try to arrive at a position we can all, or nearly all, agree on, the consensus. The writer takes it from there, drawing on all the facts and informed opinions that were shared at our meeting. Now, there's no one way to write an editorial, but I'd like to show you a basic structure that many editorials have. When you're trying to convince others to see things the way you do, it helps to organize your information. Before you begin, figure out who you're trying to convince. Is it public officials? Is it the business community? Is it your teacher? In other words, who are your readers? USA Today's readers are everyday people across the country who probably aren't able to spend nearly as much time as we do thinking about public policy. The next thing we need to do is find a way to hook the readers. We need to connect the subjects to the impact it has on their lives. Sometimes we do this with a story, a short, relatable anecdote that draws people in. Sometimes it's just a short, provocative opinion. Once we got them hooked, we need to get into the real task, convincing our audience with a well-thought-out argument based on facts. Lots of news media outlets in today's partisan world are just rabble-rousers, content to stir up people who've already made up their minds. Our consensus process, in which the members of our editorial board discuss many viewpoints and try to agree on the best one, often steers us toward the middle of the political road. So we'll need to convince a lot of people who disagree with us. This approach is both more useful and more fun, but a lot harder. To earn the public's trust in our ideas, we need facts and reasoning to support those ideas. Now, where do we get those facts? Editorial writers have to be experts, so ours all have extensive experience covering the subjects they write about. They've been news reporters. They've traveled. They know where to get credible information in a hurry that can support a well-informed opinion. If you're a young person, chances are that you could do a good job of helping your peers with the problem, but you're going to have a pretty hard time advising someone about, say, retirement investments. Unless it's something you have special knowledge about, then you may be the expert. You can persuade, you can teach. Now that we've laid out our position and supported it with verified facts and evidence, we then acknowledge different or opposing positions. Once we do, we can clearly explain why they are not as convincing as our own. Now, USA Today goes a step further than just acknowledging other points of view within our editorials. We do something unusual, if not unique. We give someone with an opposing viewpoint a chance to reply right alongside our editorial. We want the public to be enlightened by hearing opinions from many perspectives. Finally, having connected to our readers and having lined up our facts in a convincing way, we have to finish in a way that leaves a single thought ringing in our readers' heads. One that makes them say, "Yeah, that's right," or "Gee, I never thought of it that way." If you've ever been asked to write a persuasive essay for a school assignment, you may have recognized some of these steps. You've probably learned from your teachers the importance of using facts and details to support your answers. That's essential for editorial writers too. We look for credible, verified information to support our positions. It's also important to take into account points of view that are different from your own, even if you disagree with them. Let them have their fair say too. Being fair helps build your credibility. I hope what I've shared has made you interested enough to seek out more editorials and maybe even read them on a regular basis, whether in the opinion section of USA Today or another newspaper. If so, try looking for the characteristics I've described in this video. Once again, I'm Thuan Elston, Editorial Board member of the opinion section of USA Today, and thanks for watching.